Greetings and welcome to Stunthangar Video Hangouts. My name is Charles Carter and I'll be your host this evening. I want to extend to you my gratitude for you watching Stunthangar Video Hangouts. If you are watching this as a replay, I want you to know that I host these YouTube live streams every Monday and Friday evening starting at 6:45 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So please make a note of this so you can watch or be part of the live stream. Plus, we have an after party following the live stream, which is sometimes better than the live stream portion. You must be a registered Stunthangar Forum member to find the link to be part of the live stream and the following after party. Here at Stunthangar Video Hangouts, we talk about building and flying model airplanes, sport flying, competition flying, and what you've been doing lately. To join our conversation, if you are already a member of Stunthangar Forum, you can find the link if you scroll down to the section called At the Bench. Now, if you're not a member or not logged into Stunthangar Forum, the At the Bench link will not appear. If you're not a member, please register at stunthangar.com/SMF. That's stunthangar.com/SMF. That's Smart Men Flying. That's courtesy of Jeff Riley. You must place a space between your real first and last name when you register. You must also use a valid email address or Sparky. The proprietor of Stunthangar will not approve you. Now, if you're inclined to not come in, just enjoy watching this on YouTube, wonderful, fantastic. Please enter your questions or comments in the chat box over here on the YouTube side, and I'll do my best to make your comments or questions a part of the show. And I understand sometimes even I can't get a word in myself, so be patient, as I will ask our illustrious panel your question or state your comments. And by the way, you only can make comments or questions during a live stream. So like I said, I host these YouTube live streams every Monday and Friday evening, starting at 6:45 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you find the Stunthangar Video Hangouts that I host, or the many building videos, Saturday at John's videos, the contest coverage that Sparky does on this platform, informative and enjoyable, please hit the thumbs up, and subscribe. And when you subscribe, make sure you hit the notification bell and select all, so that whenever myself or Sparky comes on, you'll be notified. And share the videos, comments on the videos. All these activities help the Stunthangar YouTube channel grow. Now, please consider joining Stunthangar's YouTube channel memberships, which start at just $4.99 a month, which is less than 17 cents a day. 17 cents a day. And by the way, I'm also a member, and I have the $4.99 come out of my checking account each and every month, and I don't miss it, and I suspect you won't either. You can also use the super chat over here, which is below the chat box, which is like a $, and you can donate any amount you like. Okay, now your support helps offset some of the expenses of running Stunthangar, and with your support, you'll get special badges that Sparky and I can see in the YouTube chat box, and unlimited replay of member-only videos. Now, this is Sparky's YouTube channel. I'm only in here twice a week, so if you want to get in touch with me, go to my YouTube channel, which is Flying Control Line Stunt. That's Flying Control Line Stunt, and place a comment or question on the 2019 AMA National Championship video, which Sparky shot with his video camera of me flying his Junar XL. And I'll receive a notification and be able to respond to you quickly. I want to thank you for your past, your present, and future support. You are making it happen. Please keep the conversations family room friendly. In other words, please don't use words or do things you wouldn't say or do around your own children or grandchildren. And without any further ado, I'm going to post a link at stunthangar.com. Just bear with me real quick. Let me see here. There we go. See here. So let me go to the YouTube channel here. And Just a second. Anyways, I hope everybody had a good weekend. And I did, but I didn't do any flying. Where I fly at is a public park, and I fly during the week. So during the week, there's no one at the athletic fields, and then on weekends, it's inundated with people doing pickup games, whether it be soccer or football. And so I typically fly throughout the week, not on weekends. So I didn't go flying today either. I had I must have pulled the groin muscle or something. I'm having a little bit of difficulty moving around. So I didn't go flying today, which I wish I could have, because today was a beautiful day. Every time I peeked outside, it was just lovely outside. Kind of warm, but the wind wasn't that bad, so it's very good. So hopefully other people will come in. They've had a chance to fly. I'm looking at what I call the control panel. I see Gary Sinclair checked in with, and I see he has a sticker. He's one of our members. And Dennis Adamison says like delivered. Hey Gerald, I see you. Fantastic. Just 1 second here, Gerald. 1 second. And so we have 12 concurrent viewers, 9 likes, and I looks like I have 6 people inside here. Fantastic. So I don't know who's here first, but welcome, Gerald. Long time no see. And thank you, Keith Trosser, for coming in. Gary Sinclair, thank you for coming in. Stuart, thank you for coming in. And Jim Hoffman, I haven't seen you in a couple of weeks. Thank you for coming in, Jim. I appreciate you coming in. So anybody do any flying or do anything in their shop that you want to share? What about you, Keith? Go ahead, Keith.
Yeah, went up this morning. It's one of the nicest days we've had all summer and spring, summer. It was mid-70s, just a gentle little breeze away from the sun. It's about as
nice.
good as had it.
Same wow, tomorrow. What planes did you take out?
That was my big job. Just finally getting some bugs worked out of it. After the disaster hit at VSC where we lost a crankshaft, well, I put a new crankshaft in and it hasn't run right, but I guess I was using the wrong fuel. So anyway, we got it going and it's running pretty good. So.
Oh, great. I remember last time you mentioned he's going to try new fuel or good fuel next. That's great. Well, anybody else do any flying or anything in the shop they want to share?
I'm good at crashing.
Oh. But the thing is, are you getting better at crashing?
Yeah.
And you want to get better and better at crashing. I told my flying buddy, Joe Mata, he's getting good at crashing. He's just breaking props now. So that's good. How about you, Gerald? I haven't seen you in a long time.
Yeah, I'm in because my wife's at work today, and so I've got more bandwidth that I can use. When she works from home, I can't normally get on. She's swallowing up all the bandwidth with her work. But yeah, we've been flying. Me and the boys, Otto and Max, have been out flying, but it's very wet. We haven't been able to fly at the normal flying field at Greens Road. It's just really, it's like walking over pudding, a soft, stodgy pudding, and flying at home. It's a bit like that too, but we've still tried to get out and keep the practice up, especially with the summer coming up. We're trying to ensure the boys are flying a good pattern or practicing some of their techniques. And young Max's flying has improved enormously. He's really getting into the swing of things. He's learning his inverted, getting a lot better at that. So he seems happy too to actually see the improvements. He's not crashing anything like he used to a couple of years ago.
Well, I'm gunning for Max because my nickname at home is Max because my dad was Charles also, and I have a son named Charles. So around my family, I'm called Max just to avoid any confusion. So I'm really gunning for Max. I mean, I hope the best for Otto as well, but I'm really gunning for Max to maybe even beat up on Otto and flying. So that'd be great.
Yeah, he's very keen now. He's got a different personality, which makes it interesting. They've got very different styles of flying already. And Otto prefers the stunt, whereas Max seems to, he likes the team racing and combat a lot as well. So they've decided slightly different lines of what they like to do, which makes it fun for me as a father, watching them develop differently.
I sure envy you. I wish my kids would have took on to it. They really did not take to it at all. I have 3 kids. They've gone to contests with me, and they could care less about it. You know, so I'm happy for you. And by the way, everybody, this is Gerald Wimmer. He's from New Zealand. Maybe some of you don't know who he is, but he's in New Zealand, and he's fortunate that his kids fly, his wife flies, and his sister-in-law flies. So really has it going on in New Zealand. So it's right now it's winter there. Is that right?
Yeah, we're into spring now. We're seeing the days get a little bit longer now, but everybody's keen to get out there and fly a bit more as the weather improves. A friend of mine, John Carradiff, said he might come in as well at some point. He wanted to join the show today. He's talked to Sparky regularly on his chats, and I think John's quite keen to come in and say hello.
Oh, that'd be great. And I'd love to see. Now, Otto is the one that does a lot of drawings. Is that right? Is that what you said?
Max is the
yeah. If he has any drawings to share, that'd be cool. So, hey, I see Howard Rush just came in. Thank you, Howard, and Paul. Thank you very much, Paul Taylor, for coming in. And Jim, have you done any flying or done anything in your shop?
Well, I've been gone for a few weeks, so no, I haven't done any flying. Today I did go in the shop, and I want to try these little wedges that people put on their elevators. Howard made me some. I tried those. All they did was add drag to the airplane, and I couldn't. Once I got the lap times right, I still couldn't detect any performance change, although lots of other people rave about them. So I did today make some little thin strips, about 20 thousandths thick tape that I'll put on the trailing edge and give it a go next flying up.
What'd you say, Howard?
Oh, you vertically at the back, or just making the trailing edge 20 thousandths thicker?
The latter. It's just tape.
Both sides?
Certainly. Well, top and bottom.
Top and bottom, yeah.
Top and bottom, yeah.
I did that on flaps, couldn't tell anything.
No.
I also
Ever used vortex generators?
Yeah, I've got
vortex
those.
generators. You're kidding. Yeah.
You've used them?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, he manufactures some. He's
Oh, you do?
manufactured some for me and
How do
many others.
Yeah.
So is there a big difference with that with the control line?
No, I've observed, I think, a small difference, as have others.
Yeah.
Makes them come out of corners a little nicer. I think Paul Walker's observed some other benefits from it, but I've been putting them on my airplane for a long time, and I had them on the new airplane in the same configuration I had in the old ones, and I took them off and didn't notice any change, so I just left them off. So,
I am always tempted to try the experiment that Paul Walker suggests, is take them off of one wing, top and bottom, and leave them on the other.
yeah, do that.
Go take a flight.
Yeah, leave them on the right wing.
Have you done that?
No, I don't intend to.
Actually, I saw it on an RC plane on YouTube, and they showed the guy had these like little pieces, strips of yarn about 3 or 4 inches long, and he had them taped on there. It was kind of interesting because he put vortex generators on it, and it you could see where it did smooth out the airflow. It was kind of interesting to see because without them, you could see that they were all going back and forth. And when he put the vortex generators on, they actually stayed more straight. So it was interesting to see.
Chris Rudd did that on a stunt plane too.
Any effect that people are feeling from these tapes and vortex generators are very subtle.
Yep.
So, not like putting an ounce of nose weight in. It's much more subtle than that.
Well, on the real planes, I forget the plane they were talking about. I think it was like the stall rate was 10 knots less or something. So they do something, I guess, but on a smaller plane, it may be more relevant.
Well, I think you have to have a good airplane that's well trimmed before you see any difference, however significant it might be.
Yeah, I don't know what that's like yet.
I was talking to Bob Hunt this weekend, and he says that he sets his back a little bit further. A lot of people are putting it directly on the trailing edge, and he sets his back a little further. I'm not sure if it was an 1/8 inch.
The elevator doodad you're talking about, not VGs.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but yeah, I was just thinking about that the whole time you guys were talking about the whatever we call that wedge thing. That might be a different, having it set back further. I don't know. Bob Hunt really still think they're really a great addition to his airplanes.
Yeah.
And I know he's tried different widths, width across the control surface and different heights. And so maybe if a person gets too much drag, maybe they need to lessen it. I don't know. I haven't tried it yet, so I'm not a convert yet. I haven't even tried the there's so many things I haven't tried yet because my plane is still not at its optimal trim yet. And once I get there, I'm gonna probably try more things to see if I can improve it some more. And it looks like we have Joe Gilbert making his way in here.
Joe, I was going to call you.
Me?
Yeah.
Hello.
Hi, Joe.
It's daylight where he is. It's dark here.
Yeah, it's light there in Washington, where Howard's at.
Yeah.
know.
There's the sky. See?
Look at that.
Oh,
That's one.
It's wonderful. It's still light where I'm at. I can't show you, but it's still light where I'm at.
Jim Hoffman.
Hey, Joe, how are you?
Good. Oh, there's a whole bunch of them.
Yeah, we're growing. We're multiplying. We're up to 11. So
Cool.
let me welcome Mark Weiss. Thank you, Mark, for coming in. And then thank you, John Miller, for coming in. And thank you, Mike Millard. I know Mike Millard, you're not quite all the way in here, but you're making your way in here. I hope you're feeling better, Mike Millard. I see you still have the oxygen tank hooked up to you, but I hope you're breathing better.
Yeah, I'm hanging in there, kind of stuck with this thing. But I think you were hearing our fan that last time.
Okay, good. I don't hear anything now, so that's great.
Yeah.
I won't have to mute you.
Hey, Gerald, how you doing?
good, thanks. How are you, John?
Great. How's the boys?
Oh, they're fine, thank you. Getting bigger and flying better all the time, making me look old. But that's life.
It happens.
So Paul Taylor had to back out because he was having internet issues. I know we've all experienced that before, one way or another. So he's just going to be listening, I think, or watching us. So Paul Taylor communicated to me on the chat box. And speaking of the chat box, let me catch up. Jonathan Cordores, he says, "Hi, you guys. Hi, you Gerald, fellow Kiwi." So you got so Jonathan's from New Zealand. You know him, Gerald?
John Caritas. Is it John Caritas?
Yes. I
Yeah,
probably
yeah,
butchered
I
the
know.
name, but yeah, good. He's been in the chat box quite regularly.
Yeah.
And then he says, I can't, I don't know what that's supposed to be. I can't,
Yeah, me neither.
but he's multitasking. I got that. So maybe next time he might come in.
Work.
And that's great. So we're up to 24 viewers. We have 15 likes. So if you haven't hit the like button, please smash the like button. That doesn't cost you a penny to hit the like button, and it helps the analytics of the show. And then also don't forget our chat revenue. We haven't in our, at least the shows that I've been doing. I hope Sparky is doing better than I am, because I hardly see any super chats, and that's a way of supporting us in the on the YouTube side. Hit the chat button, hit the super chat, which is below the chat box, and donate any amount you like, or you can do a monthly subscription. We have a subscription start at $4.99 a month, and that really helps out the show. And I see Michael Brooks. That's the name. Is that you, Mike Lonky? I guess you're using someone else's iPhone.
No, that's me. But you know, my phone is on my wife's account, so Lisa Brooks. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm glad to see you, buddy. You feeling better?
I am feeling better. Yes, I'm. I know you can't see it, but I'm sitting in the hot tub with Chris right now. My buddy, my neighbor Chris, the guy I'm teaching to fly.
All right. Well, hey, Chris. Hi.
Hey, what's going on?
Same old, same old. Just doing this Saturday night. I mean, not Saturday Night Live, but the seems like Saturday Night Live. I'm Hangar Video Hangouts. That's
Girls
my other
love-
job. I do Saturday night too. You might
Is
not
it
watch
girl-
Saturday Night Live, but I do that as well.
Looking for a higher paying job.
Hard day at work today, both of us. So we're chilling in the hot tub and having a couple cocktails, and we thought we'd join the control line chat tonight.
Well, I appreciate it. And Jerry, welcome, Jerry. Thank you for coming in. Appreciate it. And Dennis Adamison is making his way in here as well. So we have right now in the chat, inside here, we have 14 people. And this is Monday night. That's fantastic, you guys. I appreciate it. And Jack Snavely says, hi guys. Love the show. Well, thank you, Jack. I appreciate that. And he has some airplane stickers and a checkered flag and a globe as well. And he's also a member. I can tell the members in the chat box because there's a certain sticker that they have when they are a member. So appreciate your support financially and support coming in or listening or chiming in or asking questions. Hey, Chris, now I see you, Chris.
Hello. We're going to try and get some lights on.
No worries.
We don't want to see that.
No, we don't.
Yeah.
No, we don't.
Yeah, keep the lights off. This might be disturbing.
I never know what Mike's going to do. You know how that goes.
Yeah.
Well, I should make a report on the year to build SV11.
All right.
Yeah, I've been on it a little bit, a week or two past a year now. And I've got the center section just about all ready to lay in the magnets and clip in the outside center section.
Very
And,
good.
Yeah, then it'll be just better cleaning it up and mounting the cowl and the engine, and then it should be just, I need to make up settle lines for it.
So do you have some little bit of incidents in the stab and a little bit low down incidents in the engine?
I do,
All right.
yeah.
Does anybody have any questions about that? Not everybody believes in that, but I know there's all different camps in our hobby. Some people just do straight 0-0 all the way across, and some do what John does, which is a little bit up incidents in the stab and a little down incidents in the nose of the motor.
Well, and some people, you could just put positive incidents in the stab.
Yeah.
But I like to use a little down incidents in the thrust line.
Anybody have any comments on that? Any personal experience doing what John's doing?
Well, I can tell you that once I started doing it, any hunting problems I'd had had pretty well gone away.
It works on
Good
Ringmaster.
thing to know.
Assure you.
It works on Ringmasters, Joe?
Assure you it works on Ringmasters.
You bet.
I've cut mine in two before to make it habit.
Well, I tell you, good old Bob Whiteley, he's the one that put me onto it. And most of us that knew him would understand he was kind of a master at trimming.
Yeah, he wrote an article in Stunt News, about a page long, says things that work.
Yeah,
Things that always work.
Yeah.
I actually printed that page. I finally came across it about a month ago and I printed it. I don't know where it's at, but I know I printed it.
Hey, Jim Hoffman, welcome back.
Thank you so much. It's nice to be back.
In 2004, Don Hutchison built a T6 profile, and it had an elevator that had stabilizer had a notch in the fuselage, and he'd rigged up a mechanism to slide over that, and you could loosen the screw and raise and lower that from
Oh, really?
+1, half, 0, half, and he gave me that airplane, and I flew it many times. I wrote a little article for it, and I
Is that the airplane you were kicking butt with?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
But I wrote an article about that. Now I ended up leaving it at 2 degrees, and it made the flap elevators look off when you looked at them, but the turns were pretty nice on it, and it locked in really well.
I believe that.
Joe, was that like a jack screw or something?
No, it had a piece of tubing going between the stabilizers, and then 2 pieces of plywood glued onto the bottom with the screw through them, and it had this friction fit. It just screwed the wood to the fuselage in a slot. It ran in a slot.
Oh.
Don was a brilliant guy. He is a brilliant man. He's not doing well now, but he's still with us.
I'm sorry to hear he's not doing well.
No, he's not well. And I checked with that the guy about those boards, your building board, Keith, like you have. He's alive. He's not building anything now.
That's a shame. He was a master.
Welcome Dennis Adamiston. Thank you, Dennis, for coming in. Appreciate it.
Holy mackerel, what a full house you got tonight, Charles.
Yeah, I think let me see.
You got free pizza or something?
No, I'm I buy popcorn, but it's not free. I could throw it at
Dennis,
you guys, but that's about it.
Dennis, do you know about the pool party?
Really?
Yeah, right
Well,
there.
Just check Mike Lonke.
Yeah.
Ah, I see.
Yes.
We Michael Brooks? There we go. Oh my God.
Yeah, I think we should just do let's just do an audio and no video with Mike.
Yeah. I think we should mute it. We should mute his video. You're right.
So, yeah.
True.
No,
Hey,
they're welcome. Everybody's welcome.
Oh, I'm just kidding.
Hey, we're here to talk about control line model airplanes. It doesn't matter if we're in a shop or in a living room or in a hot tub
That's it.
having cocktails.
They're
We're
all
still here
junk.
to talk about control line modeling. So,
That's right. I understand. Looking at Gerald is here too. My goodness, it's been a long time.
Right. Yeah.
Hey, Gerald.
Hey, Gerald, isn't it getting close to your nationals?
We have our nationals in January.
Oh,
Used to
okay.
be right on New Year's that they'd hold it over the New Year's break, but they normally leave a couple of days after the New Year's celebrations. And that's when we have our nationals. It's normally down in Carterton, sort of in the middle of New Zealand. They try and make it easy for everybody to get there. So, if anybody wants a holiday during winter to come down under, they're obviously welcome to attend our nationals. There was a comment on the forum, something about it, because people were asking about coming here to the nationals on some other control line forums there. And they wanted to see what you have to do to fly down and participate in our nationals.
Oh, And I'd love to. I
It's a
spent all
long
the
way.
money.
A big commitment, I can understand. It'd be a big job to come here. Yeah.
Let me interrupt for a second, you guys. Jim Hoffman, I'm not sure if you got a chance to finish what you was talking about, what you was experimenting with your airplane. I know you mentioned the thing on this on the elevators. Was there anything else?
That's about it, really. I've tried different versions. I've tried Howard's version. I tried one I built. I've tried short span, full span, and I've never found a performance difference. But I'm going to try the Chris Cox approach. Oh. But you were talking about elevator stab incidents. I'm very aware of positive stab incidents, but I don't build them that way. But my planes all do end up with a good bit of down cranked into it.
Yep.
And the reason I do that is it's hard enough to build a straight airplane. So putting in planned incidents is tough. I have a much better shot at getting it right if it's all 0, 0, 0. And then I can crank it in with a clevis. That's my approach.
Whatever
Well,
works.
if you build it crooked, you can say, well, heck, I meant to do that. So somehow that doesn't ring right either, does it?
That that seems to work for impacts. Building stab level and then putting in some down elevator.
Mm.
Hey, did you get your plane back together, Howard?
No,
Oh,
I'm sanding out the lumps. It got lumpy.
oh boy.
Mm.
Well, you'll have some more finishing posts, I'm sure, for the frustrated.
I haven't sanded through yet, but I'm probably.
I would.
I have a comment in the chat box. It's from Jonathan Adotis, and I'm probably butchering his name, but the gentleman from New Zealand, he says the odd plane I've used about 1 degree up on the stab leading edge seemed to lock in, especially inverted.
Yeah.
On the leading edge, he's got positive. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, Joe, last time you was here, it was someone you asked a question about, does the plane hunt equally upright and inverted? And that wasn't that person's case, but I was curious if a plane does hunt more inverted, what do you find is the solution?
In my experience, whenever airplane hunts more one way than the other, the flaps will be toward the sky when it's hunting. So if it hunts inverted, lengthen the rod, bring the flaps back up. And when you have that situation, the inside maneuvers will be diggy and easy to fly loops, and the outsides will be skittish, and you got to wrestle it all the way around the corners. And the triangles and the hourglass, the bottom corners, it'll dig in and turn tight. But the outsides, it'll slide, and the tail will whip fast, but it's sliding while it's turning, in my experiences. Triangle airplane was doing that. It was digging inside and sliding outside. In the video that I saw,
Yeah.
you could see it plain as day. Or I could.
So Joe, would it do the same thing in the hourglass?
The hourglass will slide over on you, nip over on your back if the flaps are down. The third turn, when you turn it, it'll turn fast, but it'll slide. You end up in, I call you sliding up inverted. You come across the circle.
Gets a little soft on the top.
No, it doesn't soft. It just slides in the corner. As it's sliding, it's moving down on the hemisphere, and you end up inverted more. You can monkey that. It's easy to figure out. Do something, even if it's wrong.
Yeah, at least you know it's wrong.
Yeah.
And going the other direction, right?
Yeah. And don't mess with the half a turn. At first, do a whole turn. You'll see it go the other way. Oh, I see. Okay.
Listen to Joe, people.
Well, I don't know about that, but
No, he's right.
be aggressive. Be a little aggressive, and put
Yeah,
that chick,
my brother used to call that, make sure you ring the bell.
ring the bell. Find out where it's going.
Don't sneak up on it, you know.
Overshoot it.
Yeah, anything worth doing is worth overdoing, and then come back and you got a problem, you know. Overshoot it if you, yeah, if you don't overshoot it, you don't know that you got it solved. So.
Hey,
Tom?
Dennis, can I ask you a question? Dennis,
Yes,
can I ask you a question?
of course.
Okay.
Do you expect me to answer it too? Oh,
Well, I think you may have a good handle on it.
okay.
I don't remember so many people talking about hunting before electrics got popular. Are they more prone to hunt?
I got a
Be careful.
couple answers on that. Number one, I've run, on my electrics, I'm running, opposite rotation propellers exclusively.
Right.
And the rotation of the prop induces a different, precession in the airplane. It actually wants to go, it wants to pull nose down, where a normal prop wants to pull nose up, just flying level flights. And so on my my airplanes, the last couple of years, I've been putting 1 degree of upthrust into almost everything, and everything has gotten better that I've done. There are 2 airplanes that it didn't work on, but everything else has gotten better with 1 degree of upthrust. All right. Now the second part of the question is that there's a question of lines sticking together.
Yeah.
And because of the lack of vibration. And if you have any issue with the line sticking together, it's going to be a more prominent condition with the electric because there isn't any vibration, giving it a little bit of dynamic on there. And that's why here I go again, the broken record. But I think the Spectra lines that are really, really slippery, I think part of the payoff on them is on an electric airplane more so than it would be on a gas airplane even.
I was
Because
going to ask you that, so thanks.
I think it's a thing on the electrics. It's line stiction, or by whatever name you want to call it. I think it is a real thing.
Or control.
More prominent, more likely to affect an electric airplane than a gas airplane. So, Howard,
Thank
you've
you.
flown your impacts both ways. What do you think?
I don't know. The electric ones I went out of my way to make less control friction. So.
That's
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yes, the electrics
Thank
are
you, guys.
incredibly unforgiving of any friction in the control system. The vibration of an IC engine breaks up a lot of dry friction, and you can get away with a lot of things with IC that you can't get away with electric.
Yeah.
been my experience too, Jim.
Does using the fishing lines help with that? Being
Definitely.
less sticky?
It's one of 100 things that can stick.
I think the lines are, I think it's a step in the right direction. It's not the only step, but I think it's definitely on the positive. What surprised me is that I even noticed it, right off on one of my test airplanes was the SV-11, fairly large, well, over 70 ounces, pretty good line tension and stuff like that. I would have thought that an airplane like that would have pretty strong control over any line friction or anything like that. But that airplane, the difference in line friction literally shouted at me. The first time I flew it, I knew there was something there. And the second time I was able to put my finger on it, what was really happening. So, again, I don't even know all the factors that go into why, sometimes lines seem stickier than others, but I would have expected line tension to be something that would overcome friction, but in this case it wasn't. And so.
What are you calling line friction? What's the definition of that?
You have to pull the controls a certain amount before you actually overcome the line stick, the way the lines stick together. And it shows up in, shows up in things like hunting and stuff like that. It shows up in coming back to the same neutral. What I noticed on the SV11 was I could not modify the path of a round loop. I would come in and, be wanting to make it an adjustment to adjust my flight path towards the ground, towards the bottom. And I had to make a severe handle movement to make the airplane move. And of course, the severe handle movement, it would overshoot and, the flight path is totally destroyed. And when I was flying with the Spectra, it seemed like I could fly it exactly where I wanted to go. With minute adjustments that you need in a round loop to maintain a smooth path and everything like that. So I made a rather bold, my usual kind of bold statement in that I think that the Spectra lines, improved the flight by 10 points, by the second flight I flew it. All right, only because my round loops I think got 10 points better. Anything with a round loop. So
On that one, Dennis, with the Max Curato line, it's got more of a feel to it. It feels like there's more, there'll be less of a smooth surface than like the Fins line. The Fins line, Fin 7B feels a lot smoother. Have you found that the fin sticks more than the Max Curato, which has a rougher finish?
Yeah, the Max Quattro has actually feels kind of rough, but it actually behaves really smooth. So I don't have an answer for that either, but it seems to work. So. And
at the World Champs, I think they've made it legal now to use the Spectra line. Is anybody using anything other than steel at the World Champs?
I didn't see any.
Wasn't it only our team?
Our team was using steel lines.
Oh, okay.
So there was Howard, no one there using Spectra line at all then?
I didn't see any.
At our nationals, there were 3 people flying Spectra lines among all the classes that I could see. And that was it. So I think I answered 1,000 questions on them. A lot of people, yeah, even some people got the line and they just haven't got around to trying it, but everybody seems to be a little standoffish about it, worried about it, worried about stretch, worried about strength. And I don't know, it's just, you leap in and it either works or it doesn't. And, either way, the answer, the adjustment comes back. So if you don't like it, you go back. So
I'll tell you one place Spectra lines are spectacular is when you're teaching kids.
Yeah.
Because if they walk on the lines, it's no big deal.
Yeah.
I've seen this at Triple Tree, wherever we go. I like using Spectra because I'm not worried about the lines. I know they're not going to kink, and I know they're not going to get all screwed up. So if you're working with kids, I would really encourage go to Spectra lines.
Yeah, my 2 boys have always flown with Spectra virtually for the last 5 years. What they can remember is always flying with Spectra, but when they fly combat against other people using steel, they've got to use steel. And when they're doing team race, they have to use steel. And they're always keen to go back to their Spectra lines when they're at home, not competing. When they can fly what they choose, it's always Spectra.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's so much more forgiving. I think that's the big thing, especially when you're flying in a public space where you've got cars or people walking around that don't know the susceptibility of the lines to damage. Then you could say, "Oh, don't worry." I've had it where you're untangling a dog's paws with Spectra line wound all around them, and the dog doesn't know what it is, but at least it doesn't cut in the same way. I'm sure that steel seems to with in an accident like that where an animal walks onto a circle. But yeah, it's been very, very forgiving for all different incidents that we've had with people driving their cars over it and all manner of things that go wrong on a flying field.
Wow. I've never had cars drive over my lines. That's a new one to me.
I've had that happen.
Yeah. Keep at it. It'll happen to you.
Yeah, I guess so. Wow.
And the dogs.
Yeah, the dogs. Yeah, actually, I might really start thinking about going to Spectra just because I do fly at a public park, and I'm very conscious of everybody around my lines. And I hate to yell at someone who's maybe just curious about our hobby. The first thing I might say is, hey, and I hate to do that when it's the first time I interact with them. I'd rather, have a more friendlier introduction, than that. So I might consider seriously just going all the way in.
Yeah, well, the yellow lines, they see them as well. That makes a big difference. If you've got these invisible lines, nobody knows what they've stepped on or why you're getting upset. That's the other thing. They start tripping over them before they see them. Whereas with the spectral ones, if they're a good color, you'll spot them.
Yeah, I had to laugh the other day when we were flying out, when Wes and I are flying, we usually leave our lines on the circle and, try not to land on them and stuff. And of course, sometimes it happened. And Wes landed on my lines 2 flights in a row, managed to hook just the down line. All right. Well, in my lines, I have a mixed color set. The up line is dark green and the down line is white. So I guess even when it comes to hooking the lines, the visible lines are even easier for the airplane to hook. All right. So it wouldn't hook the green line. It only hooked the white line. So I don't know. That's my working theory until somebody gives me a better answer. But Gerald's exactly right on that. I've had, he did that to me once last year and absolutely destroyed about 15 feet of the line. Had the most beautiful, spring curlicue in it, from where it wrapped around his landing gear wire. And that's what happens, and it doesn't happen with the Spectra. So
Jonathan Cardotas, he's not going to be outdone. He says, we've even had cows running out on our circle.
Yeah.
Cows
We tend to fly all over the place.
Cows are very curious creatures.
Yeah.
They hear
The
that
thing
engine.
I'm not sure about with Spectra, and I just don't really know the answer. We had a really good thread going on Stunthangar about flying and lightning and stuff like that, which is of course a really bad idea. But you can get static shocks in conditions where there isn't lightning immediately apparent or anything like that. We used to get it all the time, flying in the evening back at Rouge Park and stuff. I don't know what it was about the evening. But get the spark. Sometimes you could even see the spark, hit your jump from your lines to your hand and stuff like that. I don't know if plastic line is inherently better. Does it totally, eliminate the possibility of gathering static or anything like that? I don't understand the mechanics of, how static buildup works and everything like that. I was just wondering, and as near as I can tell on the forum, nobody's really had a what I consider a solid rock solid answer on that. Intuitively, it seems like a good idea, but I just don't know. So
Plastic's more of an insulator.
You could have put up a flight Saturday at the Nats and we'd have watched.
Well, that's it. The conditions that you were in, there was certainly, there was lightning coming and stuff like that, but it wasn't there. It wasn't obvious that, that you were going to be into that condition. And obviously, what you and David really, you got zapped. Would you have been zapped if you had been flying the others? All right. That's exactly it. What I'm talking about. So
Right after David, and then would everybody be curious about that?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know why you weren't there. You could have done that. That's science, Dennis. You got to do it.
Well, I wasn't there because there was at least 6 people had to get hit by a truck before there'd have been room for me to fit into the top 5. So.
Oh no, I'm not talking. You could. There was no competition for use of the circle at that time.
Yeah, that's it. Well,
could have done it just in the interest of science.
In the interest of science, actually, that would have been interesting. It would have been interesting to try that. You're right. I would have let anybody who wanted to fly my airplane.
Yeah. You should let that'd be then you'd a good comparison.
Well, even though the plastic
sounds like you had a good time, Howard.
Even
well, the other wild card in all of that too is that I've used a Brodak handle with the big metal frame in it.
Ooh.
So conventional logic would say, gee, if you're touching metal, it's attached to your lines and stuff, you're not going to get the static buildup and you're not going to have any problem. Well, okay. Yeah.
And David took off with his wired handle, and
And he got hit in. That's right. He was flying a wired handle, right? So I just remember flying with an easy just and getting to the end of the flight and holding it with both hands with my hands spread apart because that little bit of cable in the back
yeah,
used to jump
Yeah.
from that to the heel of my hand. And my God, it would scare the crap out of me.
Hit
So
you to your
I would go like I'd hold my hand like that so it might get my hand away from that cable, and
Yeah.
just fly out the flight 5 feet off the ground,
It made it jump further, Dennis. It hurt worse.
I suppose. I know, I had no sense of humor about it. So
Hey, go ahead, Keith.
Yeah, years ago, I was in Dayton, Ohio, lived there for a few years.
oh, that circle, yeah.
And Dayton
oh yeah,
had,
you mean under the power plant?
yeah, by the power plant. And even on a clear day, you get above and be dry. You'd be flying above 45 degrees and you just get hit, going around at 45 degrees. So we learned
Wow.
not to fly above 45 degrees anymore.
Oh, wow.
Takes a good.
Maybe I should go fly there to cure me of my habit.
Why everybody there flew small maneuvers.
That's right.
Wow.
Hey, not to change the subject, but there's a sleeper post on Stunthangar a couple days ago. And it's buried down in the scale section. I don't know if anybody saw this thing or not. And I don't know who posted it there, I forget the name. But it's under one of Aviojet's long posts on his Texaco 13. But anyway, what this guy posted was videos from the World Championships of the top flyers that flew there in the finals. And it starts
been
off
enjoying those.
with the Chinese guy who I think was fourth or fifth, the young guy.
Yeah.
And interesting to watch because they're at the World Championships like they do, according to the rules. They place these placards on the metric equivalent. They're 2 foot square, 4 to 6 feet high. And they're at 45-degree segments of the circle. And the camera on these videos was pretty well placed. It wasn't directly upwind because they didn't want to interfere with the judges. But you get to see Orestes, you get to see Igor, the Chinese guy, and a couple others. That's probably the top 4 or 5 guys that were there. And it's a lesson to me, and I've watched these guys fly before, but about how good they are. They have to be that good to be at that level, I guess. But those placards, a couple of guys, particularly Orestes, on his level flight, he's right in the middle of those placards every lap, every time around. He's right there at 5 feet between the 4 and 6 foot mark of those placards all the way around. And at 45 degrees, why all their loops, even though they're not, the camera position is not exactly the right place, but you can tell the loops are 45 degrees.
Why?
Because they're they're the same distance from each of the placards at 45 degrees. The same thing with the A's.
Where was that on Stunthangar? I'd like to look
Okay.
that up.
Yeah, it's in the scale section. And look under, it's fairly recent, Aviojet, Charles, whatever his name is. It's one of these long-winded things, but somebody posted on there because there's an airplane that looked like the Texaco 13 that Aviojet was talking about.
What's the name? Sorry, you said under scale, but you said then a name or something?
Yeah,
Maybe.
look under, it should be one of the first ones there because there's not been very many posts,
Yeah.
but look under Texaco 13 build, right at the top of the scale.
Yeah, it's like a 3-page. I found that today too, Keith. I did not watch the video yet, but I think it's about a 3-page posting near.
It is.
It's on the 3rd page, I think.
Yeah, you have to go down to the recent one, and I forget, is under that, and it doesn't belong there. It belongs up in either the very first or like uh, the
Open
Fancher,
forum.
the Fancher one. There at the top of the whole Stunthanger thing. But this is a lesson on how to fly. It's a lesson that you could use in judging. Well, Howard, you're there, but with
It's a lesson that if I had learned that lesson, I wouldn't have finished so low.
yeah, it's
I-
uh, it's
I-
remarkable. It's remarkable to watch these guys fly. It really is.
Yeah.
And also,
I know exactly that.
and how tight they go. And the camera was in a really good position, and the camera was stationary. And so you got a real good feel for how these guys, and you can, when they're doing the eights, you can see if they're overlapping and how far off, if they are off. And on the verticals, the same thing. And you can also see that they're not holding the intersections. Those intersections are just an instant while they're turning one way and the other. All those guys are doing that. And they drive unbelievable. And Howard, you do this too. You drive unbelievably deep into the corners. It's just amazing. And here I think the electrics have it over most of the IC engines. In fact, Jose Modesto and I were talking when we were in Paris a couple of years ago, watching these guys. And if you're going to compete at that level, unless you really got it nailed down how to make the IC engines work, you're going to have to go to electric because they have a definite advantage, I think. Now, I'm off my soapbox, but it's worth going to watch these things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with all that, Keith. That's
Well,
So do you ever,
Howard, you do a real nice job driving into corners too. So, and the other thing too is the frustration that I know you and others have about the way judges act over there. So, that's just part of the game, I guess we play, and you have to put up with it. But it sure is frustrating, particularly if you're over there and invest the time and effort to get there and do what you do, and then run into judges like you do.
well, my frustration was with the attempt at electronic scoring. I'll set that up one of these days.
Okay.
But yeah, I got myself a set of markers to put around my circle.
That's I think if you really want to get good and get your sizes the way they're supposed to be, you have to have those markers, at least downwind, and markers at 45 degrees off downwind. Or else, yeah. And it really shows up in those videos. Oh, anyway, I'm off my soapbox.
No, it's a very good point. I actually watched
Steve.
the Igor and I saw the Restis Hernandez, and I was impressed. I was really impressed with Igor's flight. And I saw how he only used a quarter of the circle to do his figure eights.
Yeah.
And I was really impressed with that. Plus, just how low. I mean, it just seemed like they were just so low. I mean, the planes were just the whole time 4 feet below.
They're in the middle of those placards. They're
Yeah.
at 5 feet all the way around every time. Not just for the times they're being judged, but they're there all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, very impressive. And let me welcome Philip Bailey. Thank you, Philip, for coming in. Appreciate it.
Hey, guys.
Hey, Phil.
Hey, how are you, Jim? Hey, guys. Good to see you. Mark and Keith. Good to see you.
Phil.
Oh, my gosh. Look at here. Australia is New Zealand is in the house.
Yes.
Good deal.
So you've been up to flying? You done any flying or building, Phil?
We went the other day and flew six. I flew 6 times. I think everybody else flew 7, but I flew 6 times, only 6 because I only had 6 batteries. And then did a little bit of building today. I finally got the wingtips on my airplane. I got to look at the fuselage, and I thought, got to talk to John about something because something don't make sense. But anyway, been having a good time though. I finally got my uncle squared away, and he found his telephone finally. So now, as soon as his new earplugs come, whatever you call them, hearing aids come in, things will be nice. I hope. I can hope anyway, you know.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So how about you, Charles? You done any flying?
I meant to fly today, but I don't know if I pulled a groin muscle, but I'm just having difficulty moving around.
Oh,
So,
I want to meet the guy that coined the phrase "the golden years." I want to smack him right in the mouth.
Hey on yourself.
definitely not for wimps. That's for sure.
I'm telling you.
I have a comment from Jonathan Caradas. He says, Gerald, you have a story about flying under the pylons.
Well, I have to say, firstly, that when we've had electric shocks, it's been with steel lines. I haven't had any electric shocks with spectra lines. And when we used to fly at one of the club sites in Takapuna, there were power lines very close to where we were flying, and it was quite common for people to get shocks off the power lines. But they were high tension power lines, so I think that was they weren't just low tension power lines, so they were carrying some heavy high voltage, and that was a regular occurrence. But it did make us very aware, even though they were quite away from where we were flying. It would probably be about a quarter of a mile away, or not less, about an eighth of a mile away. But it still had an effect.
Wow.
That's a long jump.
Yeah, and in the right conditions. Normally it wasn't the problem, but I think it's just the right conditions. It seems to be when the issue had occurred. But
yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Good point.
You can imagine around the wires radiating out circles of electrical energy, you know, and they get bigger, bigger, and they get weaker as they go up. But nonetheless, when you move a wire through a magnetic field like that, what do you produce?
Spark.
Electricity. That's what a generator does. You got a magnet and you got loops of wire, and you run that loops of wire through that magnetic energy, and you get electricity. And so our lines flying through there act just like a generator.
Yeah.
Like a magnet.
Figure out how to harness it, and I can leave my lipos home. So
yeah.
John's an expert on that stuff anyway, so.
Yeah. I don't want to learn it the way John did. So
no, that learning it all at once hurts.
Yeah.
All at once. That's good.
Yeah.
I worked at a power plant when I was a young man, and they had 138,000 leaving, and you could carry a fluorescent light bulb into the 138,000 voltage yard, and it would light up in your hands.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Light bulb would light
I
up.
tell you.
They did that to say, don't screw up down here.
I guess.
Damn.
I'll tell you another one. If you ever go to a radio transmission tower, just, you've seen them everywhere, AM transmission tower. Get you a quarter and a pair of pliers. Grab the pliers. Now you're gonna get shot. It's gonna sting a little bit. If you walk up to it and slap the side of that tower with that quarter and then pull it back just about a quarter of an inch, you'll not only draw an arc, you can hear what's on the radio, what the radio is transmitting through that arc. That's the craziest thing. My professor in college told me that, and I said, I went to him after class. I didn't say anything during class, but I went to him after class because he and my uncle were real good friends. And I said, Don, that's a little far-fetched. He said, really? Meet me at WSJS Saturday morning, 9:00. Okay, I'll call you bluff. Well, Saturday morning, I had to make sure I had work. I worked Friday night, so Saturday morning I was off, but I was supposed to be going to bed getting some sleep. I went out there, he grabs a pair of pliers, he slaps that thing and pulls it back. Sure enough, he draws an arc about a quarter to half an inch long, and sure enough, we could hear the Shirelles on the dadgum radio. I thought, you have got to be putting me on.
Well, I don't
He
know.
said, you're the only one in the class that will listen to this stuff and ask questions. He said, everybody else would think it's that I'm thinking you don't believe, and you're the only one that's asking me, how does this work? Does it really work? And We got along great, but I'm telling you what, some of the things he told us until he showed us, I just couldn't believe. But that one was weird.
Did it tingle your hands, Phil?
No, it didn't tingle. It hurt.
It
It
hurt.
shocked. It's RF. It's radiated frequency, and it hurts.
RF's the worst kind of electrical burn you can get.
Yeah, you had to. The trick was to have the quarter in a pair of pliers, and you have a good grip on that pair of pliers. You can get a good tingle with it. Like, I mean, your whole hands are gonna be shaking. But if you're dumb enough to try to let it down, when you let it down, the arc goes from the pliers to you. That really hurts.
So it may not be related to that. I don't know whether I read this somewhere. Somebody told me where microwave ovens came from, and wasn't back in the 50s, 60s, there were no such thing as microwave ovens, except but these radar stations, NORAD radar stations, they have all over the north. They started finding dead rats all around these radomes. Well, what's going on here? Well, the radiation from those things were cooking the rats. So, hey, let's do something practical with this then. That's where microwaves came from.
That's it. That's exactly right. That's what I heard.
Radar range.
That's exactly the way I heard it the first time too.
I'll be
Yeah,
darned.
and called there's the radar range, I remember.
That's it.
That was your beginning.
Was
what does it have in it?
Keith,
what does it have in it? What's the
Aurora?
major component of that unit? A magnetron.
Yeah.
Guess what's in a radar unit? A magnetron.
Yeah.
I think that was the beginning of fast food.
No, Mark. You know who invented fast food? Seriously, think about it. Where's the origin of fast food?
Bam.
Caveman. Think about it. If you wasn't fast, you was food.
I didn't see that one coming.
That's bad.
Very good.
Thanks, Phil.
Oh well. Oh.
I was going to say Lord Sandwich.
That was going on.
Lord Sandwich is probably the inventor of fast food. Though.
My wife's over in the corner going. Oh well.
Yeah.
Went them all.
Mike Millard, was you trying to say something, Mike?
Yeah, I was trying to talk with Keith. I was asking if he was stationed at Buckley at the time with the radar stuff.
No,
Yeah.
I wasn't there.
Because
Hey, Mike
the
Lonke.
old free flight club there, the Magnificent Mike Mountain Man, their field used to be out there. I don't know if it still is or not. Just be out beyond those radomes.
Well, yeah, those radomes do other things too. So
Yeah.
I used to be involved within their building up there a little bit, but that's another story.
I can't tell. What is wrong with you?
Mark Wise, was you trying to get Mike Lonke's attention?
Yeah, I was just wondering if you have any concerns about electrical shock and what you're doing.
None whatsoever.
Okay, you're grounded.
We're grounded.
Okay.
No. Good. Thank you for your concern, Mark.
Well, every Panther member is important to me.
They're in the hot
it's
tub
getting-
time machine there. I
It's
don't know.
getting deep,
They're,
guys.
Hot tub. But the only thing we got to worry about is Chris's wife coming down here and throwing a space heater in the hot tub on us. Like if she gets,
Oh,
but other than that, I think we're okay.
okay.
So, Mike, have you
Oh,
and
good.
Sam been in there flying a lot or not?
We have been flying twice a week, Wednesdays and Sundays. Although we did not go yesterday. Yesterday was a shop day. We spent all day Saturday and all day yesterday in the shop getting some F2D planes ready for Detroit. So next is Labor Day, and the following weekend there is a combat contest in Detroit that we're driving up to, and it'll be Sam's first full F2D triple elimination 2 airplane F2D contest. So we're going to be testing some stuff, getting things ready for that. Also flying old school slow combat, which is Nelson 36s on suction. And we're going to fly speed limit as well. We're going to go fly day after Wednesday. Wednesday is Sam's birthday. He's turning 14 on Wednesday.
Wow.
And
Wow.
what does he want to do for his birthday? He wants to go fly combat. So we're going to go, when he gets off the bus, we're going to go fly combat. I'm taking our new bench out there tomorrow. I just built a 3x5 bench table, big, giant, heavy table, wood table. The RC guys have to cut a little bit more of a circle there where we flying a circle out there. We've been taking a table out there, but that's a pain in the butt. And the RC guys, the president said I could build a bench and leave it out there at the field. So I built a bench. It's going out there with me tomorrow, which will be nice to be able to have a place to, on and leave it there, not have to carry it back and forth all the time. So we're going to do that tomorrow, drop the table off, and then go fly a bunch of combat on Wednesday. It's Labor Day this weekend, so boating on Saturday, and then Sam will go fly again on Sunday. We'll get up on Sunday, do some more combat.
That's good.
Cool.
Very cool.
I like those.
And maybe drag a guy out there at some point. Yeah, Chris hooked, drug him into the world a little bit at Joe and all, but we need to drag him back into the control line world a little more. Vegas coming up, Charles. You've been getting the emails?
Yeah, I didn't read the email from Ruben yet. I saw it, and it's been busy today, but I'm looking forward to. I figure I have about 2.5 months to get the plane in killer trim and get myself personally in killer trim too. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited.
I'm looking forward to that one too. Absolutely.
Everybody consider coming to the Las Vegas Stunt Challenge. You should better get tickets into Las Vegas. And if you don't have a plane, that's not an issue. According to Ruben and Steven, they have some planes for you to fly. Just get there. And it's a lot of fun. And I'm expecting even a bigger crowd this year than last year. So
who's going?
That's
going. Raise your hand.
I'm hoping, but I don't know yet.
Are you hoping, Phil? That'd be great, Phil.
I'm hoping.
Yeah,
I'm working on
it. Dennis is still he's a possibility too.
It's not a high possibility. So.
Oh, okay.
I'll be
Keith
in
is going.
I was thinking about it, but I have yet to get an airplane and flown at all, so I wouldn't be able to do anything except spectate.
Yeah. Chris Cox told me he's coming.
That's great. Chris is coming. Yeah, Ruben's last email, I think it came out either this morning or yesterday, said that it's shaping up to be a really good contest. He said he's got more entries than they've ever had. Like it's
I can maybe read the email. Let me see here.
It was yesterday or today, Charles.
Yeah, it says we're getting very good response to Las Vegas Stunt Challenge contest. If you have not made reservations for the hotel or sent in your entry form, contact me ASAP at he gives his email. I don't want to put on the YouTube. And he says, I will get you all the information. This event has grown in just a few short years to be a large contest. Vegas is a place to be. So much for the family to do. The expert class, we're seeing some of the best control line flyers in the world showing up. We are adding additional awards, expert to 5th place. Wow. And there will be 5 additional awards for masters, and all expert pilots fly 2 flights. After the 2 flights, the top 5 scorer from either first or second flight will fly an additional flight like at the Nats to determine the top 5 masters. All 5 will get a master award. This will enable the 6th place expert to be moved up to 1st place in expert, and the 10th place would be 5th in expert. Also, free soda and water all 4 days. Practice day, lunch on Thursday be available. The RC Club will be selling cooked food Friday, Saturday, Sunday, electric and clean toilets on site, and plenty of parking, room for RVs. Saturday night is pizza night at the McBride's house. Come can't get much better. I heard Steve on Friday in our after party. I think Steve said that Dave Fitzgerald was going to come.
Yeah,
Yeah.
some of the varsity will be there.
Yeah. So it's
Not forget
looking forward to it.
Howard's there.
Vegas,
That's
man.
it.
And Howard's there. Yes.
Howard's varsity.
Yeah. Howard's definitely varsity. Howard's there. And there are people who don't come in the show that are going to be there. I mean, yeah, I don't track
Tim
everybody.
Just will be there.
Oh, Tim Just is kicking butt. He took I think he took 2nd at the Palmer Joust in expert.
And Charles,
Yeah.
it's Vegas. There's a lot more to do than just fly toy airplanes, man.
Yes, it's Vegas. Yes, it's Vegas. That's about says it all. Are you thinking about it, Joe?
No, I'll be in El Dorado, Arkansas. That's the
Okay,
weekend.
man, I sure would love to hang out with you again. I had a blast.
It'd be fun.
It would be fun. You are,
He's a mess just to be around, Charles.
yeah. Well,
Watch a guy come to a contest and fly 5 events and win 5 events. I mean, what are you gonna do with somebody like that?
yeah.
And that was with one airplane.
I think he could have won most of them with a ringmaster, the way he flies that ringmaster. I've never seen anybody master a ringmaster the way he has.
Yeah, I would like to hang out with Joe Gilbert and Scott Dinger. I think that'd be such a kick in the butt.
Dinger's a hoot.
Joe Gilbert is a mess. You got to watch. You watch
Scott
him.
Dinger. I don't
You
know if
watch him close.
Have you seen
Watch
Scott Dinger?
him
You know Scott Dinger?
Maybe
know
don't know him.
Yeah, Scott Dinger's a lot of fun too. I mean, a
You
lot of
know
you guys
what?
are too. Don't get me wrong. All of you guys are a lot of fun, but I'd love to get Scott Dinger and Joe Gilbert together. And
You know who else you got to watch out for, Charles?
Who's that?
You got to watch out for Walker, Paul Walker.
Yeah.
Yeah. See,
Yeah, y'all heard about when he stole somebody's handle off their lines while he's getting ready to fly. Yeah.
Well, how about you remember Mike Pratt back in the old days of,
I remember Mike
Tucson?
very well.
I know him well.
Some poor guy walked by the swimming pool and Mikey was in the pool. The guy's fully dressed. Mikey comes up, shake hands. I thought they were going to bump, you know. Mike grabs him and he's in the pool, fully dressed.
Oh no.
Oh gee whiz.
He had just he's telling me to come over there, and I started to come, and something happened, and I turned around, and the other guy ended up in the pool and said, "Michael, I think the world of you, but you pull me in that pool, I'm gonna pull you out of there and hurt you." He's a mess. I mean, he is a mess. That's a fun-lovingest individual you're ever gonna meet. He's a lot of fun.
He's a good guy too.
He is. He's a great guy.
Hey, you got me curious. What's going on with your wingtips?
Our wingtips are fine. What got me buffaloed is when I bought this thing, it was a fella, Bill Francis, had already started it. And all he built was a fuselage, which if he were still alive, I'd have to show him how to buy wood, because I'll get the fuselage in a minute and show it to you. This thing you could use for a ball bat.
Oh,
I'm not kidding you. It is heavy. I don't know what it weighs, but it's twice as heavy as the wing. I mean, it's more than twice as heavy as the wing. Jack, will you settle down? My dogs are going crazy over here. Anyway, I kept looking at that thing, and I'd come upstairs and look at the plans, because the plans are over here over the couch, and I build in the basement. But I come in here and, oh, by the way, the wing plan is in the basement, but the fuselage plan's up here, because the plan on the wing, the plan to the wing on this plan that has fuselage on it is the old style wing, the one like the plane behind you. And the plan downstairs is the one of the new wings, the one I'm building now. So anyway, I came up and looked at it. I finally brought the fuselage up. I said, it just don't look right. And I stuck the fuselage up to the plan, and the nose is right. But of course, it's built for a 10-inch wing instead of a 10.5. But there's a whole lot more tail moment on this Mark III than there was on the stock airplane. I don't know how much more. I haven't measured it, but at least 3 or 4 inches. That thing, I looked at that and I said, wait a minute. Should I extend the nose? Because this, I mean, I got a 9 3/8 nose on this thing, and I don't know what the tail is, but I bet it's 18 inches.
Well, 18 is all right.
With a 9-inch nose?
Yeah.
Yeah, if it'll bounce, it's all right.
Heavy engine in it, baby.
Heavier engine. Yeah.
No, it's the biggest motor I can get in the thing is a 28, 26, I think. I'm not sure. I'm using
but you can get the battery as far forward as you can get it.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that. I got a little compartment under my battery compartment that the ESC goes in. The timer, I haven't really figured out where I'm gonna put it yet.
This one here,
Uh-huh.
that's got a 17.5-inch tail moment.
Well, that might be what this is. I mean, it was originally drawn, the plan actually says Pathfinder 40, but it's a profile. And it's got 40 marked out, and it says Mark III. So, but I mean, that is a long, the fuselage looks like you've taken it and pulled everything down to make it more in line and made it longer.
Did I draw it?
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's pretty. It looks different. I've looked at the stock Pathfinder Salon flying it. I mean, mine's not stock, mine's a tail dragger, but I didn't build it. But it's you get used to it one way, and then when you see it another way, maybe it's because I'm just an old technician, but I get used to seeing it one way, and then I see it different, and it's, wait a minute, that's not right. Something's not right.
Yeah.
Can't always tell you what's wrong, but I can tell you when something's not right.
Well, be advised, I know that there were at least 3 or 4 of them built, but I never heard anything back on anybody how they flew.
Well, I'll let you know as soon as I get it going, because I done got it in high gear now. I'm gonna finish the wing this week. The tail is finished. The new fuselage, there's not much to that fuselage. I mean, seriously, it's just you build the front end, and then you put the strips back, and then put some foam in there and sheet the thing with plywood, and
you
got a fuselage.
I know how this full body flies, which is basically pretty much the same thing.
Yeah, well, I understand that, and flew pretty good. When I saw it flying Tucson, it looked like it flew pretty good.
Yeah.
Of course, we were both a lot younger then, and you were getting it on pretty good with that thing, though.
That was then, and this is now.
Well, me too, brother. Me too. Time catches all of us. The older I get, the better I used to be.
Yeah. Let me interrupt. Let me first welcome Caffeine. Thank you for coming in. I appreciate it. I hope you're feeling better, Caffeine.
I can't see you yet, but good to see you.
Hi guys.
Are you feeling better, Caffeine?
Yeah, I'm feeling better. My COVID result test is negative now.
All right.
Excellent.
Good.
Yeah.
I have a comment from the chat box, and this is from Jonathan Caradas. Again, he says, Charles, a question. Have any of the group had breathing issues due to balsa dust? He says, I vacuum a lot as I work. I also sand outside in the wind, and I sit, yeah, I'm getting cut off here. Anyways, he's asking if anybody had any problems. If anybody would have problems, you'd think Sparky.
Yeah.
I saw the videos of him standing. So I don't know, Karatz, have you guys had any issues with breathing?
It's hard. It's deadly for me. I wear a mask.
So do I.
So do I.
What kind of mask are you wearing? Like the paper mask, or are you wearing a
95.
N95?
I wear one that we used when I was working as a drywall finisher. It's kind of got a mesh thing on it. It's kind of formed, fits real nice and tight, and is easy to breathe through.
I just wear the 95 type, you know, kind of give us for COVID.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jim.
I've had more problems with my eyes from sanding balsa. I know one night, one New Year's Eve, I ended up at urgent care. A speck of balsa got in my eye, and
Wow.
it wasn't coming out. A couple hours at urgent care to get it out. So
Wow.
I wear essentially safety glasses if I'm doing much sanding these days.
They're kind of like almost like welder's glasses, where they're
Yeah, you want to have some sort of a seal around it. You know what works? My wife does a lot of cooking, and there's something called onion glasses that have a seal around your eyes, and I've used something like that. They're cheap.
That sounds neat.
Oh, that's a great tidbit there. I never even heard of that.
Answer right
Thank
there.
you, Jim.
I got a friend who wears a thing that looks like a plastic shield.
Gerald's showing us his.
Let me make it big, Gerald, real quick.
I can't even see Gerald.
That's one of these new.
Oh, there you go.
It's the cool ear mask. It actually works quite well. It's got a fine layer of balsa dust all over as I speak. But yeah, it's a cool ear one, and it seems to work very well. You don't get too hot in it.
You gonna model it for us?
No.
That's kind of cool. Where did you get that?
I think I got this one from a car painting store.
That's where I got mine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, Charles.
Yeah, Mark.
I know this is real simple, but when I get the chance, I like using these small razor planes just to eliminate some of that dust.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do that a lot too.
Yeah.
I have a couple of razor planes myself. Master Air Screw, and then there's one, I think it's a
David.
It's from Europe. I can't remember the name, it escapes me temporarily. But yeah,
my favorite one's a David.
I've got one I got at the hardware store. I think it's a very cheap little thing, about maybe that long.
Yeah.
Yeah. Stanley makes a little one.
And it works so slick for balsa.
Yeah, I had the Stanley one as well, Mark. Yeah, I have like 3 or 4 different planes, really small planes.
Yeah.
And I've been eyeing the ones that they use in building guitars on eBay. They got a lot. Guitar makers have a lot of neat planes.
Oh, that's neat.
Yeah.
Wow.
I can't find mine right off the bat.
I have a lot of trouble with a lot of things like that. I've got a lot of tools downstairs that when I need them, they escape.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. I waste so much time trying to find stuff in my garage.
I've got too much.
My worst thing isn't sanding, it's using side acrylic glue.
Oh yeah.
It really messes me up. And so I found that wearing a mask like a painter's mask, with the carbon filter or the carbon filters on it, takes care of that real good.
Yeah. Howard, where are you trying to get home from?
Oh, I'm charging the car.
Oh, I know, but where are you trying to get home from? Are you heading out for a contest?
I'm just charging it because people are coming to visit, and we're going to run them up Mount Rainier and stuff.
Oh yeah, I've been up there one time. It's pretty up there. Well, good to see you anyway. John, what I was going to tell you, I used to build with almost all CA, and now I only use CA if I got to tack something. I use white glue or that. I've used a lot of Elmer's. Tom Morris got me on Elmer's, and I used a lot of that. But now I'm using this. The stuff Bobby Hunt told us about. And I've even got it in a baby. I've even got Type Bond 3 in a baby bot, no less.
Yeah.
And it works.
Yeah, I'm doing much like on the SV11. I've been using a lot of 30-minute epoxy. I want to make sure the wing and stab and that are in there good and solid. But I
Yeah.
had to use some thick CA today because I put in the parts that connect from the front to the back to carry the tension load.
Yeah.
And I wanted to make sure I had to get him in there, and I couldn't get him in there with anything slow moving because slow curing because they wouldn't move. Well, and I couldn't anyway. So
I know what you're saying.
Yeah. So I got them in there, and now I didn't put a lot there, just enough to tack them into place. And now I'll get in there with some epoxy. I like putting epoxy around those wing joints.
Let me ask a dumb question. Did you by any chance on SV11, you're talking about SV11 ARF?
Yeah.
Did you by any chance go on the inside of the fuselage and put a 1/4-inch piece around that edge to just give you more gluing surface?
On which part?
On
Apparently
the fuselage. I put it on the fuselage. I didn't really worry about the cap, but on the bottom
wing
of the
joint?
fuselage. Yes, sir.
On the wing joint? It actually I did not, but I used a good epoxy joint there.
Okay, as long as you do something.
Yeah.
Because I've seen 2 of them come apart right there, and it's not pretty.
Yeah,
Really not
well,
pretty.
I put a good epoxy joint, and the next day I went in and mixed some micro balloons and put epoxy and micro balloon fillet there.
Okay. Let me ask another dumb question. Has anybody heard from Okie Air lately?
Yeah.
Been able?
I've
Do
heard
what?
a couple of people have talked to him very recently.
Go ahead, Joe. Go ahead, Joe.
So a week ago Saturday, he's in his new home. The air conditioner's in his garage. He started filling orders yesterday.
Excellent.
Well, I just wondered. I placed an order with him, a pretty good size one, and I haven't been able to get in touch with him. And one of the guys that I fly with says, "Oh, you won't hear from him. You won't hear from him." And I thought, well, I've talked to Russ a bunch of times, and I can't
make a living.
Do what?
But he has been trying to make a living. He bought a new home. He's working. He was going to start filling orders Sunday. Was that yesterday, right? Yeah, yesterday. I talked to him Saturday. He called.
Okay. As long as he's all right, I was just worried something
Backed
happened
up.
to him.
He's backed up, but yes, he's alive and got product.
That's fine. That's fine. I just was worried about him because I hadn't talked to him in a few weeks. I generally try to talk to him every once in a while, but I hadn't talked to too many people except the guys on here in the last couple of months. I've been busy with family, and Lord, I tell you what, I got an eye-opening experience. My wife always tells me that I'm a hoarder because I have too many things downstairs. My shop's a mess because I have too much stuff. Well, I never thought of myself as a hoarder because if I get too much of something, I generally sell it, give it away, something. Well, I know where I got it before I get it from. If I am, I know where I get it from, and I'll never be that bad. That'd like to drove me crazy. Lord have mercy.
Who was your inspiration?
I have an aunt and an uncle, and they're brother and sister, so they do not live together. And I had to go over and break into my aunt's house the other night because she had locked herself in the house. She's 91 and she can't help herself, bless her heart, but she is, wow. That was an experience.
So you learned where it came from.
Yeah, well, I always knew that it had to come from somewhere. I mean, it didn't just happen. But once you see what it can become, trust me, you get on a big kick to let's not let this happen.
Oh, I've seen what you're talking about.
Man, I couldn't believe it. Absolutely couldn't believe it. I mean, I'm bad about hanging on to old magazines, and I never use them again. And mine are not, it's not like Keith's. Keith has a bunch of books back there, but they're cataloged, and when he wants something, he knows where to find it.
Oh,
Mine's
yeah.
in one of those boxes over there, but which one? That one's model aviation. That one's another, something else, something RSM, whatever. But as to where to find the specific book I want. No.
Yeah,
It's gonna
Keith's
take-
library there is absolutely remarkable.
Keith is one of the most organized people I've ever seen, and it's
Well,
just the way it goes.
I've got you fooled.
Okay.
Yes,
Well, you've done it,
all
Dan,
those
I'm
books
telling
and
you.
everything, that's just a facade, all right? You pull the thing back and it's all just piled up in a big pile there, right?
If you say so.
No, I
I've
doubt
been in
that.
that. I've
I
been in
doubt
that
that.
room. That's just an oil painting back there on the wall.
Yeah.
Oh,
There
okay.
you go.
Okay.
Job, Jerry.
I know when we were cleaning my dad's house, cleaning his house out, he had three different hobbies, all right? Along with the model airplanes, he did model railroads and he did photography. And he had all the magazines for all three hobbies stacked up someplace, all right? And going back, I don't know how many years, the airplanes are the oldest and the railroad right behind it. And the photography was fairly recent. But he made up for it with photography with a bunch of hardcover books too. So, but yeah, that was the
Well.
hard part of, sorting through it all. And it's like, what's it worth? Oh, it's worth something. How much? Nothing. It's like, do you want this?
Well, I
No.
Well, I tell you what, when you
Newses,
figure
and that
that
was
stuff,
about it. So
think how much fun my daughters are going to have. I got two daughters, and when I croak, I've got the model airplanes. We got some model railroads stuff, photography, sports car, motorcycle, which I know I don't ride anymore, but I still have it. Fishing, freshwater, saltwater, and fly rod. I don't envy them the task. That's the reason I decided the other day I've got to get rid of about half of this stuff because nobody should have to go through all this crap.
yeah, that's exactly right.
You're right. No one wants it.
Yeah.
Well, my youngest daughter, when I die, somebody get over here quick because my youngest daughter will put a dumpster in the backyard and the model airplane stuff will go in the dumpster. So somebody get over here quick. But anyway, it's the way it goes.
I'm going to go to bed, y'all. It's 10:30.
All right. Hey, thank you, Joe, for coming in. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
See you, Joe.
Good night, Joe.
Good night, Joe.
Take care.
Good to see you.
Take care, Joe. Good to see you, buddy. That's the only man I ever
think
gave
I'm gonna
a perfect
call it
score, and
quits,
he
too.
blew my mind doing it. Oh, me. I'm telling you. Keith, when you going flying again?
Tomorrow morning with Jerry.
All
Ah,
right.
good deal.
All right.
We're supposed to go in the morning, but I just realized it's the end of the month and I've got to finish cleaning out a rental building and put it in my building because I don't want to pay that $100.
Well, I was out by myself this morning and it was one of the nicest days we've had here since, well, all year.
Wow.
Mid 70s and gentle breeze away from the sun is perfect. And,
Away from the sun.
yeah.
How do you get that?
We don't very often.
We don't.
We've got the
I'm-
same
I'm-
forecast for tomorrow, so Jerry and I are going to be out there in the morning.
I'm firmly convinced the sun sucks because it's always right in, you're always stunting right into the sun.
I don't know.
Good
Maybe
gracious.
it's different if you fly on the other side of the globe, Gerald.
It's always in the
You
way.
guys don't have any. The sun's on the other side of the globe, right? You don't have to worry about it. Right?
It depends on the flying field, though, and the contour of the flying field. I think that's the big thing.
Yeah. Well, we've got trees all the way around ours, three sides of ours, and it makes it rather interesting. When it's a hot day and it rains, you know how the mist comes up off that hot asphalt. It looks like a big donut out Hobby Park, and it looks like it's swirling as it goes. Tom Dixon was up here one day and he said, "My God, you got more swirls and more things going on out here. This place is awful." Tom Looper looked at him and said, "Yeah, and you wish you had it in Atlanta." He said, "You darn right I do. Because if you can fly here, you can fly anywhere."
Right.
But it is a mess, but I'm telling you what, we're sure glad to have it.
And when you guys fly in the sun, do you wear like shooter glasses or any sort of sunglasses? Or
I wear
polarized,
sunglasses. I wear solar shields.
Zurich sunglasses.
Zurich? I
Yeah,
have a
that's it.
pair of those. How about you, Jim?
I wear two pair of sunglasses, my regular sunglasses and then those cheap ones they give you at the doctor's office after you've had eye drops in. I keep those in my toolbox and I'll wear them for a flight, and it makes a big difference. I think I learned that from Keith, maybe.
Well, I wear the Zurich glasses, the dark, some of the darkest you can get. And I can fly loops around the sun with those things and not be bothered at all.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I tried
gotta
the
write
thing
that
with two.
down.
I tried the thing with two pair of sunglasses, but not realizing my inner pair was the photo grays. All right.
Yeah.
So I put the dark glasses over the top, and the photo grays just turn clear. And yeah.
That's what mine do.
Call it sub-optimized. All right, let it go with that.
But it is amazing. You actually can use the sun as a reference. You fly
Yes.
loops around the sun sometimes.
Yes, yes. Or position your pattern, to position your maneuvers relative to the sun. And it's a good tool if it's in the right direction and you're wearing the right glasses. I don't think I've been doing it for years and I can still see, so I guess the glasses help.
Yeah, I guarantee you.
So
I don't use it for intersections.
I seem to be getting more sensitive to the sun here as I age. I'm gonna have to look into something.
Me
like that,
too.
So
Me too. Of course, we're both blue-eyed anyway, so.
Bob Wiley told me that he could fly one eyelid going through the sun, and then when he got past the sun, he'd open up the other one.
Yeah, that works if you don't have astigmatism, but if you do, not so much.
Yeah, I tried that. I almost crashed.
Yeah, almost.
Yeah,
Yeah,
me
that doesn't
too.
work for me either, Jim. I was just like, okay, well, that's Bob Wiley.
That's what I mean, Jim. I have astigmatism in one eye, and when you change eyes, your vision is just completely different. You lose the plane for a second, even though you see it, you can't realize where it is for a second. But it's gotten much better since I learned to count the maneuvers, count off the maneuvers. Instead of just flying them, count them off, because you know when you get to 3, it's time to hit a corner somewhere. But I did learn something this week. I kept, if any of you, well, you guys are much better flyers than I am. But anyway, I've been having an awful time with my square 8s. When I get to the top of the outside loop, like coming out the last turn on the maneuver, other than dipping down to go back to level, I always seem to pull it down. And Tommy finally walked up to me and he says, "You look like you're fighting the airplane. You never fight the airplane. Just fly it and let it turn." And this is the best flying airplane I've ever had. So I said, okay, I'll try that next flight. And I did. I just tried to make myself turn it. Don't yank it, just turn it. And I did. I just turned the plane and it went, and the darn thing stayed straight. So if you ever find yourself if you ever find yourself doing crazy maneuvers that you've never done before, relax and pay attention. Am I turning it or am I yanking it? Because we had no wind, and anything you did, there was just nothing to clean it up. If you yanked the airplane, you lost line tension, and it's liable to do anything then. Even with Spectra, you can't make up for some things. I mean, the Spectras make up a lot. I mean, they're amazing, but you can't make that up.
I got some comments from John Caradas. He says, "Good night." And then his last comment, he says, "We fly clockwise." He's in New Zealand, Steve. I don't know if you realize that, but and welcome, Steve Hines. Thanks for coming in.
Hey, Steve.
Hey, Gerald. I didn't know you flew clockwise there in New Zealand.
Gerald, do you fly clockwise?
Oh, he's pulling your chain.
Oh, okay. Okay.
You do what everybody else does. There'd be a lot of kits that you'd have to modify, and a lot of aircraft you'd have to rejig.
Yeah. I know the water goes down the spigot the other way down there.
Yeah.
I noticed that when I was there. It went down the other way, and I thought, what the heck? But I did not realize I didn't get to fly any control line while I was down there, so I didn't know what to look for there.
Have any ever had to judge a contest and have somebody that flies clockwise in the mix?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Isn't that a fun deal?
he took off, and for about 3 laps, I was lost. I didn't know what the heck. I said, this is not going to be easy. And I was judging at Brodak, and we both just, oh my gosh. And then it wasn't any problem. Once you get over the wow factor of it, it's just like the other. You just watch the angles and watch the turns and go for it. But
those first few maneuvers kind of get to you.
yeah, I got lost twice because I thought he was going to turn that way and he went that way, but
yeah.
We've had a couple guys on the team before, Jerry Phelps and Gene Schaefer, different times, but they fly the other way.
Yeah.
And it definitely did not help them when they got over in Europe doing that.
Yeah, Gene Schaefer, I have seen fly, and Jerry Phelps, I have seen fly many times. I had to judge Jerry Phelps. And Jerry Phelps, for those of you who never got to know him, if you bought something from Jerry Phelps, he would put more time and effort in the box that he shipped it in than a lot of people will put in the product they sell you. He was just that kind of guy. His stuff was first rate, and he put care into everything he did. He was just a first rate kind of guy. But watching him fly the first few maneuvers was eerie because he flew so precision and so well, but it's backwards. I mean, it was just wild. Another one that got me, you remember Hoyt Hawkins. Hoyt asked me to fly his airplane. Well, Hoyt learned to fly clockwise, and then he converted to counterclockwise, but he didn't turn his handle over. I mean, he didn't change his handle configuration. He simply turned it over. So up where you're left, and when you're flying clockwise, up is here. But when you turn it over, now up is on the bottom. Down, what we think of as down is up because he's flying like he's flying inverted. Well, he handed me the plane, and they're out there getting ready to start the plane, and I'm checking the handle. I said, Hoyt, the handle, your wires are upside down. Oh, no, I fly like that. Huh? So I thought, well, I'll just turn the handle over. No, he had enough bias in that thing. I didn't have any of it. It was different. It was quite different. But he was another guy that was just a great guy. We've had some really good people. I've met some really good people in this hobby. Been fortunate to meet some really nice people.
That's a fact.
Is there an advantage in flying left-handed over right-handed? I'm just wondering, because they say there is in combat if you fly left-handed and everybody else is flying right-handed. Is there an advantage, I wonder?
I don't know. Maybe Mike could go in on that. It looks to me like there would be an advantage in some things, but there would be a disadvantage in some things too. So it's like anything else. It's like a clockwise propeller against a counterclockwise prop. There's places it's going to be better, and there's places it's going to hurt you. Mm-hmm. For a long time, I said I stayed with a conventional propeller because I said better the devil I know than the one I don't know. But then I listened to one of our esteemed colleagues on here who told me about the hourglass, and I put one on there and I changed my wires around and I went and flew a couple of hourglasses, and he's right. Hi, George. The hourglass stays tight. So now I fly those funny left-handed propellers too. So there, anytime you switch something around left to right-handed or whatever, there's going to be some things that look like they help and some things it's going to hurt.
Bert Klipinski flies with his left hand, and
he sure does very well.
And I don't think it's a handicap for him to do that.
I don't think so either. Mike flies left-handed, and he looks like he's coming on pretty good now too.
Bob Palmer is left-handed.
I like it because I think I can get ahead of the airplane and get my stance before I go into a maneuver.
Yeah, makes sense.
Hey,
except for, inverted flight and going into the outside loops. Every other maneuver, I can get my body in position and bring the airplane to me and then do the maneuver. My body's stopped when I go to do the maneuver, if that makes sense to anyone.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever works for you.
I've watched you fly. It makes sense.
My son Otto can do both. He can fly left and right-handed. And because he learned it so early on, he was flying when he was a tiny tot. He's taught himself to fly patterned left-handed and right-handed.
Wow.
He flies with both hands?
Yeah, he
fly
can
with
fly
either
with
hand?
either hand.
Tell him I said something.
George Aldridge could fly either hand and both directions.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
So could Mike Paris.
Oh, man.
Mike Paris there broke his arm before the Nats and learned how to fly left-handed like 2 weeks before the Nats, and then won it.
Went and flew the Nats? Wow.
Yeah, he broke his arm just before the Nats and learned to fly left-handed, and then still went there and competed and won.
Gordon
And
Delaney
won?
there. Gordon
Wow.
Delaney there is a natural left-hander. He got switched around when he was in school, but he can pretty much do anything he wants to either hand.
Oh.
Yeah, I can do it both ways. I throw a baseball left-handed,
So do I.
but I bat right-handed.
So do I.
I shoot a pistol left-handed, but I shoot rifles and shotguns right-handed. I shoot a bow and arrow right-handed,
So do I.
but I write with my left hand. I fly with my left hand, but I can fly with my right hand if I have to. And honestly, I think if I broke my left hand, I could fly right-handed and figure it out pretty quick. Not just the harder part, I think, not just flying the airplane right-handed, that would be easy. The hard part of transitioning to flying right-handed would be to get your body to be in the right place when you're flying the pattern. Because, right, everybody gets their body in a certain position when you go into a maneuver. So, like, flying right-handed is you guys could all fly left-handed if you wanted to. You could fly left-handed and do loops and fly upside down and do the maneuvers. But when it comes to flying a pattern, you get your body set before you go into a maneuver. That's the part your brain has to get around. Like any one of us can fly either-handed, I think, pretty sure.
Yeah,
but I had my shoulder surgery
and getting your shoulders where they need to be, getting your feet where they need to be, making your feet move taking the cadence, the right steps for the maneuver, especially the overhead stuff. That's the issue. But I do think as a lefty, and anyone who's seen me fly, I think it's more pronounced when I fly. Like if you ever seen me fly, I got the airplane over here it's 90 degrees off my body when my body is set. And I plant my feet and I fly the airplane to the maneuver. And then my body's already squared up. My feet are already planted. And I just swing the airplane out in front of me and my body's already there. I think that's easier for a lefty, maybe for a righty, because you guys got to drag the airplane there and you'd have to turn your body further to get to that point and plant your feet. That's one advantage I think a lefty has. Maybe, I don't know if it makes a big difference or not, but I find it for me easier to get my body squared up to where the maneuver is and bring the airplane there. And then my feet are there, my body's there. Then I just fly the maneuver. The only time it's a disadvantage, like I said, is after the inverted lap and then getting squared up to do the outside loops.
I used to practice left-handed, Mike.
Say again?
I used to fly left-handed. I practiced the pattern left-handed. So I could do the pattern with either hand. I should have been a lefty, but I went to a Catholic school and they won't let you use your left hand.
So did I, Gordon.
You did too?
So did I. Yeah, those nuns, they tried to force me into right-handed, and I just couldn't do it. By third grade, they kept making me, and finally my parents went in there and said, he's not going to write with his right hand. Stop trying to make him do it. He's going to write with his left hand.
Yeah, well, they quit doing that when I was about the fourth grade, but
Yeah.
every time I'd pick up to write left-handed, she'd embarrass you in front of the class.
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah, we were weirdos, man. We were weirdos, right?
Yep. I came to dislike him a lot when I got older.
And nothing's ever changed, Mike.
I didn't.
Well,
let me interrupt you guys. Jim Hoffman has something to say. I have to go. I'm not sure.
So I'm left-handed, and I've found that the only advantage, it gives you an option in the wing over. Imagine being left-handed. It gives you the option of doing that maneuver fully planted. You never move your feet. That's probably the only advantage that I see being left-handed for me.
Yeah, you're right. It's pretty good. You square off, you bring it right to the judges, bam, 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 you're done. And you never move.
I wish it was that easy.
It is.
Well, I fly right-handed, but I also set myself and don't move. I get my feet planted. I've got start from my right shoulder up over, come down, hit, come around, hit, come around, get out, and then I turn.
That's the way I do.
Yeah, but Jim, wouldn't you agree that as a lefty, you speaking specifically about the reverse wing over, as a lefty, you can get the airplane behind you a little bit, level, stop and square up right with the judge. It's exactly what you're talking about. You never have to move your feet. So you get the airplane a little behind, but you get your body there first, fly the airplane to the judges, up and over, down around, up and over, and then you pull out. And you, like you said, you never have to move your feet.
That's right. That gives you the option to do it that way.
Well, that gets rid of the little wiggle going over the top.
Let me welcome Bob Gore. Thank you for coming in, Robert. Appreciate it.
Sorry, I'm late.
Okay, go ahead, John. I just wanted to welcome Bob Gore.
I said not moving your feet gets rid of that little wiggle as you're going over the top. So you get a nice clean going over
Right.
the top.
And if you're clean going over the top, then you're free to just dive it straight to the dirt and do that 4-foot inverted pullout, man, without being nervous or scared. Just drive it right to the dirt and whack that first 90, man. And that sets the tone for your whole pattern, man. If you can nail that reverse, if you nail that reverse wing over, that sets the tone for your whole pattern.
Yep.
Listen, I'm not anyone in stunt, but I know if I hit that first corner on that reverse wing over, the rest of my pattern is I'm going to be confident and it's going to be good.
Mm-hmm.
You bobble that first, you pull out too high or you pull out too low and you go like this,
right?
The rest of your pattern is going to be shit. You ain't getting it back. You hit that first corner, you got confidence for everything that follows. That's my opinion anyway. That's how
The only thing I do left-handed is tie my shoes. Because my mom taught me how to tie my shoes and she's left-handed. And her dad taught her how to tie her shoes and he was left-handed. And when I taught Samantha to tie her shoes, I taught her left-handed. And people pick up on that. They said, man, you tie your shoes funny. I'm like, what?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of things. There's a lot of kinesthesia going on, man. There's a lot of body position, a lot of arm position, feet position, shoulder position. There's so many things in this dance that we do. The more you do it, the more for each maneuver, there's a body position and a footstep this way or that way, and it all leads to better stuff. But it all
Hey, Mike.
starts with that reverse wing over. That's what I
Mike?
say.
Oh, absolutely.
Mike,
I agree with you, Jim, because I think the judges know you're a good flyer, and if you make a little mistake on the 3 inside loops, you're not going to get hit as hard. But if you blow the reverse wing over and then you nail the 3 loops, you might not get those points back because they already made their mind up. This guy can't fly. That's worth 40 points on those 3 inside loops. You know what I'm saying? So you have to really wow the judges, I believe, in the reverse.
I agree 100%, Charles. That first corner better be good. That sets the tone for the rest of the pattern.
I got a question. I used to kind of walk forward, and now I kind of walk backwards, like you would what do most of you guys do? Would you walk
Walk
forward
backwards.
in the circle, or would you walk backwards?
Backwards.
I'd walk backwards, but in the wind, if I want to slow the plane down,
Then I'll walk forwards.
forward.
Okay. I just changed to do it backwards, and wow, it changed a lot. It made it a lot easier.
Hey,
Well,
Mike,
like
let me just respond to what you said earlier. And this is just from my own experience judging top 20 and top 5 at the Nats. I think it's just human nature. When you've watched enough flights, you tend to see the beginning of a person's flight very critically. And if you see it start well, I think it's just human nature that you kind of think you're going to see a good pattern. And if the person doesn't start well, you feel the other way.
Right.
Thank you, Mark. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
for me, and I've always thought this is a tough maneuver to do it right. I watch the takeoff very carefully and just see how long the person keeps it on the ground, and can they raise it, to 4 or 5 feet at 360 degrees, right? And then certainly the wing over. And after I judge, I'd be glad to send you this. Not that it's so spectacular, but when you judge enough, you learn certain things that a pilot really needs to know on how a judge sees things.
I'd love to have that. Send it to me, please.
Send it to me too, please.
No, I will. And one of the things I noticed was doing the wing over where people were correcting. If you knew the wing over was not going to be where the judges are, there was a real question: do you turn it, or do you just keep your straight line? Okay. And I'm not sure what the rule book says. I know what it's supposed to look like, but it was some of those things that I'll tell you. The year that Joe flew into top 5, 2021, when it was so windy, you saw a lot of people put down the airplane in the wrong part of the circle. And you wouldn't think you'd see that at that level. But if you didn't put it in the right part of the circle, the holder would let go, and that plane was 5 feet up in the air in 1 second. And you just knew what the rest of that maneuver is going to be worth.
Right.
There are certain things I think that you can practice even without a coach that'll give you more points. It's an interesting thing, especially when you're looking at guys that are really close and you're looking for the difference. I've done that a lot with Craig Gunder, and I've been lucky, and he's a good student, and he's picked up a lot of points just on things that I saw other people do. And, it's not easy. Stunt isn't easy. And at the top level, it really gets hard. But I'll send you guys, there are about 14 things that I saw, and maybe it'll help you out.
Yeah, and you're right, Mark, that the takeoff is the first maneuver, and you're right. Getting to 5 feet and 306 degrees is important. I was just pointing out that the first maneuver that really has a banging corner with a you know, a specified pullout is the reverse wing over. And like,
Oh, absolutely.
so the takeoff is overlooked sometimes, and it shouldn't be. You're absolutely right. It should be that slow corkscrew to 5 feet, you know, at 360 degrees.
Right.
But the first real one that anyone sees, a hard cornering maneuver, is the reverse. And
Absolutely.
if you start off with that boom, boom, or you're, you know, at 8 feet instead of 5, I think people take notice, and I think pilots take notice when you screw up a reverse, even in your own head. It sets the tone for the rest of your flight, and it can shake you, man. You know, a crappy reverse wing over can shake you for the rest of your maneuvers.
Absolutely. You know, I played high school and college golf, and one of the things at any level of competition is when you've done something poorly, how quickly can you put it behind you? You know, and if you start a flight poorly, it's hard.
Yeah.
You're fighting and you're trying to get extra points that you're probably not even equipped to do. So it's the psychology of it as well. You know,
Let me let
I
Phil
agree.
Bailey into this conversation. Go ahead, Phil.
Well, I got the question is really not on this. It's a change of subject for just a second. But Saturday, one of the guys told me something that I'm doing wrong, and I don't think it's wrong. But since Mark's here and he judges a lot, and several of the other guys are from around the country, different spots, they're telling me that we are no longer supposed to give a signal after takeoff, do 5 laps, give a signal before we go into our wing over. Do you still give? I'm still going to continue to give the signal because I'm just used to doing it. But do y'all still look for the signal or what?
No, the rule is different. The rules changed.
Yeah,
it did.
Yes.
We do not.
What signals you're beginning your pattern of the reverse?
Okay, you give a signal to start at the beginning.
Right.
That's the clock. That starts the 8-minute clock.
Yeah.
And the flight becomes official as soon as you go inverted on your wing over. No hand signal.
That's correct.
When you go inverted. Okay. All right. That's not what they
And
were
that
telling me.
eliminates
Okay.
that eliminates the continuous argument. Well, I gave a hand signal, the judges never saw it, or whatever.
Are you talking about old time here?
No.
No.
AMA pattern.
No. AMA pattern.
You're supposed to give a signal.
No, you don't have
Used to.
years
Used
ago,
to.
probably.
Now,
You
Probably know when
if
it
you
changed.
call an attempt, does that have to be before that wing over then?
You pull up upright.
If you go inverted on the wing over, that's an official flight.
Okay.
If you
That's
don't go
what I
inverted
thought.
on a wing over, well, you can call an attempt.
Yeah.
Go
The
ahead,
only
John
signal-
Miller. Let John Miller
Yeah.
in.
I'm back to the takeoff and that big art. I went and attended one of the stunt clinics years and years and
You
years
gotta
ago.
go, guys. Good night.
All right. Thank you, Keith.
Good night,
Thank
Keith.
you.
Have a great week, buddy. See you
And
Friday.
Big Art made a point before we all got started. He said there are 2 maneuvers that you make in every flight. You have
Takeoff
to
and
make
landing.
them. Takeoff and landing. He says there's no reason if you're doing that many takeoffs and landings that you shouldn't practice to make those perfect. And so if you read up on it, it's quite easy to get a good scoring takeoff and level flight and a good landing. But you have to be prepared for it. But there's an equivalent of possibly 80 points there that a lot of people throw away.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Let me just first introduce these young men I haven't had a chance to see in a long time. Max and Otto, welcome. Thank you very much. You guys are just sitting there so stoic, and I'm sorry to let you guys sit there for a long time, but thanks for coming in.
I can't believe how much they've grown. Holy cow.
Yeah, both home from school, so yeah.
Yeah, good to see
Well,
you.
how old are they now? How old are you guys?
I'm 15.
And I'm 30. Okay.
Very good. Very good, Max and Otto. Thank you
Two
very much.
teenagers, Gerald. Holy cow.
Yeah, both flying well. I'm quite proud of their flying.
Very cool.
Wow.
Gordon, you're next, Gordon. I'm sorry I interrupted someone else, but go ahead, Gordon.
I just want to tell you why it's like getting in here. Most of you know I fly a Tony,
Yes.
Yeah.
And they had a program about the Tonys on TV, and I had to decide, do I watch that or come and get online? So I watched it before I came in.
No problem, because there's always replays of this show, but not necessarily the Tony, right?
Yeah, that was a very interesting subject.
Very
Did you
good.
know
I'd
that,
like to,
that
I'd
on
like
the
to see that
32nd
too.
over Tokyo raid, the aircraft that they ran into was a Tony. He's on a training flight, didn't have any ammunition with him.
Oh,
Wow.
Lord.
Wow. I don't think that was a coincidence.
Oh, that's a shame.
Phil, what signal were you talking about? There was a
You give
second.
a signal that starts the clock. Say, okay, I'm ready to start the engine.
Yeah.
That's it.
We used to give, at least around here, we give that signal, and then the judges would acknowledge that they started the clock. And then we take off and fly 5 laps. And on that 5th lap, I'd give a hand signal. And then you come around and start your pattern. Well, that's the way we used to fly it locally. Everybody around here used to do that. I didn't know what was everywhere, because what flipped me out, I went to several contests and didn't see people doing it. So, but all the judges around here, if you don't give a signal, you don't get scored.
Around
Back in the day, you gave a signal after your level flights saying, I'm now going to go official.
Yeah, that's it.
Before then, you could call you call it off.
I did it in Tucson. I did it here. I did it everywhere. I've always given a hand signal. Okay. So now we're going.
Okay, I guess I'm just a little confused, because how long ago, or how long has this been going on? Because I mean, I haven't flown stunt for that long, 12 years maybe, but I never heard of a second hand signal
About
to
20
tell the
years
judges
ago.
you're going to start your
Apparently-
pattern.
Apparently,
It
most
ended
people
about
didn't.
20 years ago.
Apparently, most people didn't.
At least
But
20 years ago.
20 years ago. Okay,
Yeah.
all right. That's why, because I was confused, because I've never
Well-
heard anything like that.
Well, see, that's what I was getting at. Most of the guys have not heard of it, and they were asking me, why do you do that? I thought you were supposed to, and then they told me, no, you don't have to do that anymore.
No,
I just
because
want to make sure that was everywhere, not
it's,
just here.
It's
It's
said
not a
that
requirement.
if you don't do the reverse, it's an attempt,
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. If you
Is
just,
it possible to
if
still
you
cut
don't pull
off?
out inverted, it's an attempt. That's it.
Okay.
Is
gonna have
it
to get hold of her.
Mike, most judges, our eyesight is so bad we wouldn't see the wave anyway.
Yeah, right. I know.
Is
But
there
you
a way
can,
they could
you
still
can
cut
see one
off?
pull out inverted. You can see it when an airplane goes upside down, I hope.
No, we can't.
Yeah.
I was just kidding. Yeah.
Mark, I know.
Yeah.
Well, you can tell by the sound.
Mhm.
If sound comes at you from the other direction, it's inverted. So
Can you still cut off or say that you is there a time period before you do the wing over where you can actually say you want to end the flight? Did they used to do that, or is that?
Well, you don't do anything. You just don't do anything. Don't do a reverse wing over. And the
If you want
judges,
to let them know you want to officially end the flight, though, you can just give them the cutoff, or
let's put it
Okay.
this way. Most people, if they're not going to fly the flight, or even if they start and they decide, gee, it's too windy or it's too this or too that, they'll usually, as a courtesy, they'll look at the judge and wave or something like that.
Yeah,
And it's
exactly.
kind of a thing where the judges know that they can kind of sit back and stuff like that. Now, if I'm judging and if I don't see anything like that, I'm going to keep watching until the motor shuts off.
right. But if no reverse happens, then it was an attempt.
Well, and then I was judging intermediate here a couple of years ago, and one of the flyers did not do a wing over. Well, when in doubt, you judge it out, right? I went and I judged the entire flight, and we sorted it out afterwards. All right. So he hadn't done a wing over, but I wasn't going to take any chance, or I kept judging his whole flight. And he said, "Hey, wait a minute, he didn't do a wing over." Threw the score sheet away. That's all. It was an attempt. And to Phil's point, I flew stunt for a long time, went away for 25 years, came back, and I gave hand signals. Why? Because I used to do hand signals. All right.
Well, that's me.
And then I stopped doing a hand signal this year. All right. It was
and
just
I've
a
stopped-
habit. I still think it was just a common courtesy.
Well, I think so too.
Yeah.
But I did the same thing. I stopped and
Nobody
went
really
fishing
cared.
and flew sailplane.
Yeah. It was, nobody really cares about it or anything like that. So I don't worry about it anymore.
So let me ask you this, Dennis. So the guy that doesn't do the wing over and you score the flight, do you tell him after?
Oh, yeah.
It's not an official flight because you didn't do the wing over. It's not the same as leaving out a maneuver after the reverse wing over.
Exactly.
Because it's not the start of an official flight, correct?
Right.
You
Right.
got it.
But, I just, I've always considered it, whenever you're judging and stuff like that, you got to just keep judging as if everything is in place, and you can always sort out things like that later on.
Right.
And if somebody doesn't give you enough laps or does 2 loops instead of 3, or, do something out, you judge what you see, and then, you can sort it out afterwards. All right. So I actually wasn't certain exactly when the official flight, began with the wing over and then turning, inverted. And so, in fact, I think it was even weirder than that. I think he had done a wing over but pulled out upright or something like that. I don't know. It was a situation where it's like, I ain't going to sit here in the next, 2 laps in the next 10 seconds and decide whether his flight's official or not.
Yeah.
We just kept judging. All right. I think you have to do that. So.
Well, on that note, you guys, I want to end the live stream. We can continue on in the after party, but I want to thank everybody for coming in. And
I'll try to
really
catch
good
you
show.
guys Friday.
All right, catch you Friday. Thank you for coming in. Anyways, we'll be back Monday. We'll be back Friday.
Yep.
And so hopefully you have a chance to go in your shop, do something, or go flying and come back and give us a report on that. So until then, fair winds.